Nagabenta ki khubor ba man kasngi pet but subscribe ya u Antor News. Kublay pi baro kinigilong ki khubor bam ta kasngi. Ka jingyalang kynhun Myntri ka sorkar jilla kala minjur ban pyntreikam ya ka scheme ka ban ai jingyarap song pisa ba mar alak tingka shaki district tax force DTF na kabenta ban pyntreikam ya ka Meghalaya Resident Safety and Security Act MRSSA arhajar khandrio po ka jilla ya thu ka Myntri ka tanat ka kot ki kya but kam an ka Dr. Amperin M. Lingdo hadin ka jingyalang cabinet. Ka Myntri bakmi ya ka tanat an Lingdo kalau ong ba ka sarkar ka don kam ban wanra ya ka ni ka scheme na ka bentaban pyntreikam ya ka MRSSA. Habay thu ba ka scheme ka don ni ki kindon ba ki DC kinyo ya ka mangtingka kanang ba ki kam bat ka jingkmi ya ka MRSSA kan sedang no kamkloy kat ka bala. Namar kata ngila rai ban ai ka song pisa ba alak tingka ya man ki district. Hagi district kindon kam ya ka mangtingka ka babha namar ka jingdon bun ki bor kum ki dorbar ki ban sayaram ban petlem ya ka jingwan rung ki briu ban abar kala benram. Uskret 3 bakmi ikatunat ahan bat parliamentary affairs ba Zairil Dingdo ulo ong ba ki DTF ki day ki bala aibor ban net penshisha ya ki nong shangwai kat kum ki kendon jang ka MRSSA. Hapo kani ka kendon badon kampisa ban thiet laptop computer but ring internet ka DTF ka don ki non-official member dukon bomday ki briu sorkar. Ya ka bangi hapsiu ya ka jingshong jingyalang TA lani DA but kiwi ki jingdon kam. Bon ki rang ba shnong ki lapan ki laptop bat computer kanang bakin la ban penrung kertengi ki trying bat kinong shongwai hala ki jong ki shnong ulaong. Uba ding do uyathu bon ki shnong hasor shilong lasdang ya ka project kum ka jing persyang ban sedang pentray kam ya ka MRSSA da ka ba penrung ya ki jing tip baro syapang ki trying bat kinong shongwai hala ujong uput usam. Ula ong don ki balamad iki jing namar kadai ka online database. Balay online kadawhi kadai namar bahab banya samlang bat ki pulin bat ka DTF bat ikata ka database la penrung ha ka portal.
To address this evening, we just completed a cabinet today and I've been authorized to address the press. 2 items were taken up. One item was the operationalization of the MRSSA. A scheme had to be instituted by the government wherein we will make the entire MRSSA procedure functional. So this scheme entails the provision under finance for DCs to avail budgetary allocations so that work and monitoring of the MRSSA begins at the earliest. So that was done, and it was decided that we will have a revolving fund of a minimum of 2 lakhs per district. In districts where there would be a requirement for a bigger budget because of bigger numbers of authorities like the darbars and others who are anyways entailed to help with the monitoring of visitors. So that is the first item that was taken up. The second item was the USTM. Cabinet was pleased to decide that we will not be able to allow the USTM to function without a proper act in place because we are mandated as a state government to monitor allocations of seats, fees of courses, and we have therefore decided that cabinet will again sit after the health department brings forward its plan for the act, and on Wednesday we are scheduled to meet again with the Honorable Chief Minister and the cabinet, where we will again brief you for more information on this matter.
Well, ma'am, are you planning to enhance the budget for this MRSSA?
There is no question of enhancement of budget. This is the first time that we are instituting a scheme.
Okay.
You cannot have monitoring of the MRSSA if there is no scheme in place. Hence, government has corrected this. We've allotted a new scheme under the MRSSA Act.
Ma'am, this 2 lakh.
The task force in every district, it's called the district task force, and in these task force, some managerial budgetary provisions will be made, because obviously it will be difficult for all of the task force, especially those located along the highways, to operationalize themselves.
Ma'am, coming to this,
There are Supreme Court judgments in position that already give adequate mandate to the state to come up with acts so that there is no confusion in even allotment of seats, fees of students, etc., etc., etc. So we will come up with an act, and we'll have to fast track that act. Hence, cabinet will meet again, and if necessary, we have to bring an ordinance so that we are mandated as per law, the USTM as well.
But how is it functioning without act till now?
This is the first time for the medical college. No, not for the entire university, but for the medical college. We are in position.
so we can say
Ma'am,
that
but
Meghalaya.
ma'am, how will this function? Because we only have an act related to a university, private university.
This is a medical college, hence we have to bring it in position.
So a university will have to go up another act.
This is the medical college, no? This is the PA Sangma International Medical College. And the state has to monitor all of that as per mandate of law. So we're going ahead and we're doing it first.
So there was some confusion, that means initially 40 seats.
There is no confusion. We have to be directed. Once the NOC has been given to USTM to start operation, it is offering state government some seats. But we have to be guided by an act, and hence to make sure that we are doing things in the correct way, we follow what is being done in other states. Other states also have private medical colleges. We have to do that, and we have to follow and make sure that the best practice is adopted so that we are guided by this act.
And still,
We'll try our best to complete procedures within stipulated time of the end of October, which is when it is again mandated for all medical courses to begin.
No.
Not about 40 or 30 or we don't know how many. We are coming up with an act, and we will be guided by that act. Certain states give 60%, certain state gives 30%, certain state gives 40%. We have to decide as a state which is the model of operation in our state.
Can you tell us the name of the act?
No. We are coming up with the medical college, private university, and government for our own state. We are also looking at government colleges in the pipeline in the future. There has to be some guiding rule. So we have to have certain, this is mandatory as we see is being done in other states.
Ma'am, coming back.
Per district, it gives power to the district task force to avail a scheme from the government of Meghalaya from 2 lakhs onward, depending on the demand and requirement of a particular district. Not all districts will require.
what type of schemes?
This is, yes.
It's basically, see, under MRSSA you have the district task force. The district task force is mandated to, for example, cause verification of tenants as per the provisions of the MRSSA Act. So under this provision, you require funding, say perhaps for laptops or computers, for internet facilities. Then the district task force has non-official members also who have to be given sitting fees, TADA and other such requirements. Many headmen in fact have been asking for laptops and computers so that they can enter the database of landlord and tenants in their own locality. As you are aware, many localities in Shillong city have started on a pilot way to start implementing the MRSSA by entering the details of landlord and tenants in their own jurisdiction. However, they are facing difficulty because it's an online database. Why online? Because it has to be accessed by the police and by the district task force. That's why this online database was created in a portal. So to make it more active and to ensure that this act is implemented in the right spirit as per the mandate of the act, the government has come up with a scheme, as Madam mentioned, where 2 lakhs per district task force will be given, and those districts which require more will get more. They can spend for laptops or computers, for sitting fees of non-official members, and etc. For the purpose of implementation of MRSSA.
Well, ma'am, since we thought we will meet Chief Minister and you are speaking about MRSSA, there are apprehension that after the Supreme Court guidance,
Simply an anticipated scenario. We as a government would not like to comment on anticipated scenarios of another state. We will face these problems. We will take a decision when these problems come to us. Right now, it would be futile for us to imagine that such a scenario will also happen.
but MRSSA can
Guideline, which does not affect citizenship, if I am correct. So why are we confusing the two? We have already been given certain mandated observations by the Supreme Court also on this matter. And hence we have taken cognizance of all the advisories given to the state. Hence you see the MRSSA that is now being proposed and enacted is enacted after consideration of all of those observations.